Now that we know how to solve systems of equations, let's start looking at how to apply them to word problems. So you can use any method you want, right? Sometimes it's going to be easier to graph, sometimes it's going to be easier to use substitution, sometimes elimination. So our steps are very similar to how we've been doing at the beginning. We are going to create 3 columns, and I'm going to identify my variables, I'm going to write a system, and then I am going to write a full sentence to explain my answer. So in number 1, it says the sum of 2 numbers is 32, and their difference is 18. So you've got an x and you have a y. These are my 2 numbers. Here's the first number, here's the second number. Okay? Their sum is 32, so x plus y equals 32. That's my first equation. Their difference, subtraction, is x minus y equals 18. Now, I can use anything I want. I'm going to use elimination here because my y's automatically cancel out, and I get 2x equals 50, and x equals 25. So if x is 25, remember you go back and plug it in, 25 plus what equals 32? 25 plus 7 equals 32. So my first number, x, is 7, and y is, no, I'm sorry, my x, that's a y, my x is 25, and my y is 7, okay? Do they add up to 32? They add up to 32, and then if I subtract them, does it equal 18? 25 minus 7 is 18, so it checks out. All right, let's take a look at number 3. The difference between 2 numbers is 6. The first number plus twice the other number is 39. So again, I'm going to start by identifying. We're talking about 2 numbers. So the first number I'm going to say is x. The second number I'm going to say is y. And it says the difference between 2 numbers is 6. So x minus y equals 6. Now it says the first number plus twice the other is 39. So now I have set my equations. I am going to use elimination again, and I am going to multiply this top one by positive 2. Could I cancel out my x's? Absolutely. I'm just choosing not to. So I get 2x minus 2y equals 12. My bottom one is going to be x plus 2y equals 39. My y's cancel out. 3x equals 51. 51. Divide both sides by 3. X equals 17. So if x equals 17, I'm going to plug it back into the original. So 17 minus what equals 6? That would be 11. So x is 17, y is 11. And I'm going to see. If I subtract them, it's 6. That checks out. If I take twice this one, which would be 22, and add it to 17, that would be 39. So it checks out. All right, let's take a look at number 5. So the sum of 2 numbers, so we're still talking about 2 numbers. So we have a first number, x, and a second number, y. And it says the sum of the 2 numbers is 29. Now it says the difference between 4 times the first number, and the difference between 4 times the first number and the second number is 6. So the difference between them, 4 times the first and the second, is 6. So now I'm going to use elimination because my y's cancel out, and I get 5x equals 35, and x equals 7. So if x equals 7, I go back and plug it in. 7 plus y equals 29. What plus 7 equals 29? That would be, y would be 22. So the first number, x, is 7. The second number, x, is 22. All right, let's take a look at the next page because those are pretty simple ones. You've been doing those all year long. All right, so now we have something other than two numbers. I still want to split it into three groups. And on this one, it says the cost of oranges and 12 oranges and 7 apples is $5.36. 8 oranges and 5 apples cost $3.68. Find the cost of each. So what are we talking about here? Well, we're talking about oranges and apples. So I'm going to let X be oranges, and I'm going to let Y be apples. Now, two different objects means standard form. So 12 oranges and 7 apples is $5.36. That is a literal equation. X is, apples is, and means addition. 12 oranges and 7 apples is $5.36. Literal translation. That's my first equation. My second equation says 8 oranges and 5 apples cost $3.68. Find the cost of each. So on this one, I'm still going to use elimination. You're going to get into some crazy numbers, so we're going to use this, okay? So you got to figure out what you want to eliminate. I am going to multiply the top one by 5 and the bottom one by -7. So then when I do it, my top one would be 60x plus 35y equals 536 times 5, and I get $26.80. If I multiply the bottom one by -7, I get -56x minus 35y equals -2576. So now my y's cancel out. I get 4x equals $1.04. And then I divide both sides by 4. Divided by 4. And I get x is 26 cents. Well, what is 26 cents? I'm trying to find the cost of each. So x is 26. X stands for oranges. So oranges are 26 cents. And apples, remember, we just plug in. I'm going to take my original equation here, and I'm going to plug in x for 26 cents. So 12 times 26 cents is $3.12 plus 7y equals $5.36. I'm going to subtract 312 from both sides, and I get 7y equals $2.24. And then when I divide by 7, I get y equals 0.32. So apples are 32 cents. So you have a calculator to make those numbers easier for you, okay? All right, let's take a look at number 10. No, cut out. We'll be back.